think for the past week, I've just been revisiting some old favorites that I've only heard a couple times. In this case, Gigi De Lana, I've only heard once. I was so impressed, not only with her technique, but just blown away by the tone and the quality of her vocals. So that's what we're doing today. We're listening to Better Days because I think this was probably the most recommended cover I hear after the first one I already did. So let's do it.
Silver gray, neatly combed in place. There were 4 generations of love on her face. She was so wise, no surprise. Past her eyes, she'd seen it all.
I've forgotten how much I love her. Her voice is so stunning. It's so unique. It definitely has that slightly, like, I don't even know. You could probably class it like 60s through 80s vibe depending on like what song you're listening to or what artist. I want to go back because she did something so stinking cool.
Silver gray.
Okay, so when she's starting this, I'll back it up a little bit more. It's very present. Like, she is full voice. Her chords are fully adducted.
Silver gray, neatly combed in place. There were 4 generations.
Right there on Generations. So she carries that full voice up, and then when she goes into that, the rest of the word, she lets off just a little bit. So it's not breathy, but it's the slightest amount of like shift in resonance. So it's a little bit more head voice.
Place. There were 4 generations of love on her face. She was so wise.
And then on she went back into a slightly more chest dominant mix. As she goes lower, it's a little bit fuller, a little bit rounder. She's so good. Like, technically, the agility, when we talk about agility, it's not just like doing runs. Being able to like alternate your resonance and like placement and, you know, what muscles you're using, that is agility. And she is so good.
Of love on her face. She was so wise, no surprise. Past her eyes, she'd seen it all. I was a child, oh, about 3 or 4. All day I'd ask questions, at night I'd ask more. But whenever she never would ever turn me away. I say, how can I be sure what is right or wrong? And why does what I want always take so long? Please tell me, where does God live and why won't he talk to me? I take grammar, what is love? Will I ever find out? Why are we so poor? What is life about? I wanna know the answers before I fall off to sleep. Whoa. She saw the smile.
I'll go back to the beginning of that verse. I mentioned this the first time. Gorgeous bone structure, and I love that she just has the tiniest smile while she's singing and is creating such beautiful space inside. Like, she's not hyperextending or overextending her jaw to like get these notes out or to get a fuller, rounder sound. It's all happening inside, and that tiny smile, it does wonders. It's so good.
She saw the smile as she tucked me in. Then she pulled up that old rocking chair once again. But tonight she was slightly, remarkably different somehow.
Ooh.
Slowly she rocked, looking half asleep. Grandma yawned as she stretched, then she started to speak. What she told me would mold me and holds me together inside. Yeah, 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 yeah. She said,
There's so many artists in like one body right now. Like she's so eclectic. She's got like incredible presentation. Like I really love, she's telling a story, and I love that you can see that in her face and hear it in her vocals. But it's like she goes from like that smooth jazz place, a little bit of I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, she can obviously belt and she just like let it rip, but it's still not contained, but like controlled in that like she is in control. You can trust whatever note's about to come out. It's exactly what's supposed to come out. And her intonation, I could go on for days. She's so talented.
yeah, 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 yeah. She said, oh, the things you ask, you will know someday. But you have got to live in a patient way. God put us here by faith, and by faith that means better days. She said, Tom, we are moons in the dark of night, and I'm only gonna come till the time is right. Can't get to better days unless you make it through the night. You gotta make it through the night. Yes, you do. You can get to know better days unless you make it through the night, baby. Oh, you will see those better days, but you gotta be patient. Be patient. Ooh, baby, be patient.
That's I want to hear that again. That's so beautiful. She also, like, I'm thinking of like all these other genres of music. R&B, tack that on. Like, the list is endless.
Ooh, baby, be patient. Later that year, at the turn of spring, heaven sent angels down and gave grandma her wings.
I think what I love about her storytelling is she does embrace that sort of conversational approach at the beginning.
Later that year, at the turn of spring.
Like going back and forth between like full adduction and like really good phonation and then letting off. Not that she's like whispering, but she's allowing a little bit more air to come through. Like just these tiny, tiny little nuances really change the song, and like they make you feel like she's talking to you. I love this.
That year, at the turn of spring, heaven sent angels down and gave grandma her wings. Now she's flying and sliding and gliding in bed today.
Yes. Hold on. This is so exciting. One more time.
And sliding and gliding in bed today's.
That's so challenging to do. Not only because of where it is in her range, but to not like slide or scoop into each of those additional notes. Like, she's just holding them there, and then, like, I don't know, almost like a robot, like beep, 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 beep. Like, it's so cool how she's doing it. Let me do that one more time. And her tongue is so flat and poofy. I love it. There's like not an ounce of tension to be found, which is so rare. It's so rare, and it's so lovely to see.
And sliding and gliding in bed today. And
That's a I'm sorry, I keep doing the same part over and over again. I promise this is the last time. But also, I was about to say we don't get to hear this very often. No, I've only heard her one other time. But I didn't hear, her tone stood out to me more than any sort of like runs or riffs or anything like that. So it's nice to hear that in here. One more time.
and sliding and gliding in bed today. And although I'm all grown up, I still get confused. I stumble through the dark and bump and bruise. When night gets in my way, I can still hear my grandma say, I can hear her say, I can hear her say, you can get to know better days unless you make it through the night, baby. Oh, you will see those better days, but you gotta be patient, child. Do you hear me? Yeah, oh well, you can get to know better days unless you make it. You gotta make it. You gotta make it. You gotta make it through the night. Yeah. Oh, grandma, grandma, baby. I do you say it, now my lady.
I have to go back. I know that she's like doing such incredible ad-libbing, but like that raspy growl at the top there was so cool.
You can get to know better days unless you make it. You gotta make it. You gotta make it.
Right there.
You gotta make it through the night. Yeah. Oh, grandma, grandma, baby. I do you say it, now my lady. Tears from my head. Easy to my stories. Grandma let me everywhere. Better days, grandma.
That was so fun. She just has such a cool vibe, you know? Like, I know her group is called the Gigi Vibes, so well named. But yeah, like the way they breathe life into those songs from like the 70s and the 80s, and they just have that sort of retro, well, I hate using the term retro because I feel like that term is very much contingent upon when you were born. But yes, the songs from the 70s and 80s that we don't hear as often anymore, we don't hear covers of very often. I love that they're bringing them back and, you know, adding their own flair. And of course, vocally, she has such a cool tone. It's like warm, but also bright enough so that it feels like there's good focus to it. And she can do so much. Like, she has quite the range. I loved seeing her ad-lib a little bit, and I loved hearing that riff. all the things, all the things. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next time.